Hello and welcome to another episode of French Ear Trumpet. I'm Andy from AJ in France. I'm joined as usual by Colin from French Countryside Life. And normally we come together once a week, once every 2 weeks, and just chat about stuff. And sometimes we have guests. Now, I just want to say we've had quite good response for the guest that we had last time, which was the architect, Chris. Um, and I was just thinking, you said this the other day actually, the resources that are available now on French Ear Trumpet must be something to suit everyone, whatever your question is.
Yeah. I mean, there's what 60 or 70 hours worth of content, and probably 50% of that is a load of old tosh, just us talking rubbish. But the rest of it is really valuable um, information, and as a resource for someone who's thinking of coming to live in France or is already living in France and they want to do something that they don't know how to. I think it's invaluable.
Yeah, absolutely. And moving on from that, we're just going to have a discussion about some of the events that have happened since we last had a discussion about it, really.
Hmm.
Because in France, I don't know if everyone knows, we've got a new prime minister. So it's interesting to speak to the lads at work, what they thought. And they're all of the same opinion, in fact, that France is in, I wouldn't say crisis, but is in deep trouble. And they actually all have that same feeling. And from what I gather, this last prime minister tried to push through too many austerity measures too quickly and the public didn't like it. And then you ended up with, I won't say dissent, but certainly manifestations, right? Not riots,
Hmm.
but demonstrations.
It's always interesting, isn't it? That we all know that change is a good thing, and people are aware that change is a good thing. But too much change too quickly, people get disorientated, and they rebel against it. And
Yeah.
the French do like a bit of rebelling, don't they?
Well,
So
I quite like that, to be honest.
yeah,
People who know me probably don't think I think I wouldn't like
I
that.
mean, what's refreshing is that the government actually listen to the people. When the people talk, the government tend to listen. Eventually, after they've burnt a few cars and stuff.
Well, this is the thing. They have to do quite direct action.
Mm,
So on the 10th of September here in France, we had a general strike, if you like.
yeah.
So it
Did you
affected,
notice anything in your day to day?
uh,
Was there anybody on strike in work?
no, not small businesses like that I work for weren't on strike. It's more like the big unions, I think.
Mm,
Um, but no, so if you tried to get a doctor's appointment or you wanted to go on a train or a public service, that would be severely hampered.
mm,
But private companies, not so much.
yeah. So I'm in the thick of doing dailies. Quick plug here.
Yes, I've been watching
I'm in
them.
the thick of doing daily videos at the moment on French Countryside Life. And on that day, when the strikes were around, I was working down in Rochechouart, which is about 20 kilometers south of me, and didn't see any congestion or anything on the roads. They're all back roads, really, so that's probably why.
Yeah.
But after I finished work, I went to Super U, which is like a local supermarket, best way to describe it, I think. And there was no one in it. There was two other people, two other
Oh, I saw the
customers.
video. Yeah, you took a video of the car park and there was
Yeah,
like
yeah, there were
literally
two other
three or four
customers,
cars in there, wasn't there?
and probably 20 staff, and that was it.
So there was a talk about not using your bank card for that whole day. So
Yeah,
I
to
think
withhold the transaction fees. Yeah,
that's right. So to stick it
maybe
to
that
the
was it.
man,
Yeah,
uh,
I did pay cash that day, so I don't know whether that counts.
probably does, yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, apparently we weren't, nobody's supposed to use the bank card that day. So
right.
yeah, I think
Maybe that's right. Yeah.
one of the reasons that this guy, this prime minister, was so unpopular was he was trying to take two bank holidays off us.
Yeah,
One was VE Day, and the other one I can't remember. But there's another bank holiday in May.
yeah,
So I found that quite interesting that you try and take a bank holiday off the French, and they just don't stand for that. They love their times
no,
off.
no, that's it.
And one of the things that was made, right, this is the thing in France. So anyone watching, the French people take their bank holidays on the day in which the bank holiday is due. So,
Yeah.
so
No, so it's the date rather than a day, isn't it?
that's it.
No, they
So,
take the bank holiday on that date, regardless of
yeah,
whatever day it falls on. Whereas in the UK, it's the closest Monday to the date.
that's it. So they roll it on or whatever, or back for that Monday, and you have a bank holiday Monday.
Yeah.
So you get a 3-day weekend, which is nice. But for the country, it's better because it boosts your productivity. And the reason why is because quite a lot of the bank holidays this year, for example, have fallen on a Thursday.
Mm.
So all the French take the Friday for the holiday. So there's 4 days in a row that people aren't doing
What's the
anything.
name for it? Is it Bonjour or
Faire le pont, which means
Philippon?
make the
Yeah, so
bridge.
it's yeah, make the bridge.
But it gets quite protracted sometimes. So it works out sometimes. Let's say your bank holiday's on a Tuesday, and you take the Wednesday and Thursday off. For 2 days, you get all that time off, or you may even take the following week or the following few days off, and you end up with loads of time off
Mm.
for very
Only using a
little.
couple of days, yeah.
Yeah. And the problem with the government is everyone does it at the same time. The whole of France does it normally. When I say the whole of France, I mean most of France. So you end up with a lot of non-production state-wise
Mm.
during that time, which is not very good for the country. So he's thinking by eliminating two bank holidays, I can boost the productivity and the tax revenue by
Mm.
having people work for those 2 days, which is good in theory, but
As long as you don't have to do the work.
that's exactly the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as
So
you get the plebs to do the work, doesn't affect the ruling classes. Who knew that there'd be ruling classes after a revolution? There's always I think it's just human nature, isn't it?
I wouldn't, do you know what? I genuinely wouldn't say it's a ruling class because things are done so differently. So you can have like I think I discussed it. The mairie is actually the postman in one local village.
Mm.
So they don't really get paid super large amounts of money. It's not
Yeah,
like a head of like I don't know, Nottinghamshire Council gets more than the Prime Minister,
yeah,
which is literally a crazy situation. And all heads
mm.
of councils are so well paid that it's just not right. Here it's
Mm.
done completely differently. And to get a place on the Senate, it's not particularly well paid either.
Yeah.
And
So I mean that opens it up to either someone who's got civic duty in their blood,
yeah,
or to someone who's going to see the opportunity for corruption.
yeah, I guess. But I mean, it's only a small corner of France, isn't it? But people seem to be a lot more community spirited,
Absolutely, yeah.
if that makes
Mm.
sense. And you've
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
seen it yourself.
definitely. Mm. Yeah.
So they do things for the good of the community
Mm.
as above from profiting themselves. They will actually go
Mm.
out above and beyond to make things better for people.
Mm.
So one of the examples of that a curious example of that in France is the mairie. If you sell something like you sell a land or a lake or whatever, the mairie can have first dibs if you like. So
Right,
he reviews the sale or she reviews the sale, and if it can be of use to the community, they can use the community the
right.
funds to purchase that land.
Mm.
Normally, 99% of the time, it doesn't apply,
Mm.
but sometimes it does. So if, for example, you're selling a piece of land next to a community park and they want to make it bigger,
Mm,
then they can purchase it at the same price which you agreed to sell it. And that does happen, and I know exactly when that's happened, actually just on my street.
right.
So as I go out of my house, I turn left, go down, not a main road, but it's a single track road. And there's a turning off to the right, and in the middle of it was a shed, like a big barn. And the road went either side of it. And it came up for sale as part of a house sale. And the mayor, he said, look, you can buy the house, but we're having that barn to make the junction safer.
Yeah.
So they bought the barn out at whatever pro rata price it was,
Mm,
knocked it down and made the junction safer for everybody.
there you go.
So that's it in action, really.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's common sense, isn't it? It's
I quite like
good.
that,
Yeah.
but like you say, yes, does it leave you open for corruption? Someone says, can you buy that or can you not? I don't know. Maybe.
Mm,
I don't know enough about it, to be honest.
yeah.
But
Yeah. I mean, in the video that I literally just posted about 10 minutes ago,
I saw that in.
um, I'll have to talk in a circumspect way, but hypothetically, if there was a if there was a mayor that had a piece of land, and if that hypothetical mayor was to use the commune workers to improve that land, that could, in that hypothetical situation, allegedly, um,
Oh,
could it
crikey.
make it any more clear? Yeah, I mean that's that's a potential misuse of public facilities, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that stuff goes on all over the place. Story when I used to work for a large government agency, shall we say, and
Yeah,
most of it was then all the backroom jobs were taken over by civilian staff, and
yeah,
well, fair enough. Some were good, but some were just, I mean, they were on rotation basically. They were coming in like 1 month, being sacked the next, and the stuff they used to do was just
mm,
unbelievable. One of them, the head of resources, she, rather large lady, she didn't want to bother going to and from the theatre in the West End. No, no, she got the garage hand, so the person who's supposed to look after, make sure all the windscreen wipers is topped up and all that business,
mm.
got him to come and get her from the theatre and drop her off home in
Of course.
government vehicles. But I don't know whatever possessed her to do that. But eventually, she was
Seemed like
obviously
a good idea at the time, I suppose.
yeah, and yeah, the rest is history. But yeah, that goes on all over the place, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah,
Where you are.
yeah.
So, what other news have we got France wise apart from the new prime minister? First thing I found was that all of those like me who are on a pre-Brexit visa, WARP, I think it's
Yeah.
withdrawal agreement, residence permit, or something like that.
So I'm just looking at it. Hang on.
So that would have started when
Withdrawal
Brexit,
agreement, permanent residence document.
that's it. So if you've got one of those like me,
Yeah, like
they're
me as
going to
well.
be coming, the 5 year one's going to be coming up for renewal probably next year.
Yeah,
So if you haven't done it, hang on because I've just read officially from the embassy that it's going to be available to do online.
yeah. Shall I read it out?
Yeah, go on then. What have you got?
Okay, so it says big news for UK nationals in France. We're delighted to share some important news that your Rift admin team has been advocating for over many months. Rift admins have attended meetings with officials in Paris and Brussels on your behalf. We've just heard from Brussels that from the second half of September, it will be possible to request your 10-year withdrawal agreement, permanent residence document, WARP card, online via the official website. And there's a www.demarchesimplify.fr. We'll put that link into the description. The French government will be announcing this in the coming days on their central websites. Prefectures have also been instructed to update their own sites accordingly. This should make the process of renewing warp cards much easier for beneficiaries in France. Very well.
That's good because I was actually, well, not worried, but I'm not very good with paperwork, in case you hadn't noticed. And I was actually not worried, but I'm starting to think, what do I need to prepare? How do I need to do
Yeah,
it? What are the
yeah.
criterias? What do I need to prove? Because if I rewind back to when I applied for my Brexit visa, it was pretty liberal. It was pretty easy to get.
Yeah.
And I rang, they set up an English speaking helpline just for all those Brits that were going to be, well, stranded, if you like, by Brexit in France. We forget what a massive upheaval it was just for those people who were already there.
Oh, yeah.
It
Yeah.
was just, it was horrendous. And then it was eclipsed by COVID. But,
You can imagine what it must have been like for Eastern Europeans working in the UK. Must have been exactly the same.
oh, terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. Because there was a
You know,
point where there was a point where it was coming, you knew it was happening, but obviously nobody had said, well, you can stay or you can go.
that's because no one knew.
No.
No one at the time. It felt increasingly like they was making up as they went along, which
Who
they
could?
were.
Well, of course they were.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's not even fully implemented yet. And we're
Mm,
5 years down the pipe. And only, it was only beginning of the year, or end of last year, when they started doing checks into the UK from the EU,
mm,
because they hadn't been done before.
yeah.
Because I remember going backwards and forwards and coming into the EU, more or less from day one, everything was checked. But then going back from France to England, nobody cared. You just waved straight through.
Mm,
Nobody, the customs side of things never got sorted out.
yeah.
And it's only recently that that's been done. Like, it took years and years. So yeah, it was a big upheaval. But at the time, you could, well, getting back to what I was saying, you could ring a number, and it was I rang, and it was a very nice lady who said, "Right, give me your circumstances. What do you want to do?" And they went, "Yeah, that's going to be no problem. We've been told we are under the instruction that if you apply, you're going to get it."
Yeah. Yeah.
But I have a feeling, and certainly because the amount of people that are now coming into France, and it's starting to become an issue with the French, that it might be harder to retain it. So you're going to have to meet more criteria, certainly, than when I first applied.
Mm. Do you think if the scenario plays out that the present government falls and more right wing government takes over, the whole Front National and all the rest of that, if they they're able to form a coalition, it will become even more difficult.
Uh, if that
Which is
happens,
kind of self-destructive, really, for
well, of
France.
course, if that happened, I'm going to say yes, it would become more difficult for us.
Mm,
You will get things subtly changed, like we'll have to do a language test.
yeah.
Now, for us, that's a big thing. But
Mm,
when you're like, if we then if we translate that back to England, because that's where we're both from, if someone said for them to stay, they've got to be able to speak English, 90% of the population say that's a really good idea.
mm. Oh yeah, yeah,
So when you reverse it now,
yeah.
for us, that would be terrifying because
The chap that I was speaking to yesterday, John, um, he said that every time he goes and sees his doctor, the last thing that the doctor says before they walk out the door is, "You must learn French."
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, of
But there's learning French and there's learning French.
course. Yeah, actually, someone said that to me the other day. Actually, they referenced you in a nice way, but they referenced you and said that, Andy's
That
French
makes
must
me
be really
change.
good by now. And I said, yes, it was pretty good to start with. But the issue is that he's learning like a local dialect French, really.
Yeah.
He's in a workplace where all the people come from the same area, and it's like, you know, say you was a French person and you went and lived up in Glasgow.
Yeah,
and you then learn English from someone from Glasgow. You'd come back to London and no one would understand what you said.
exactly that. And I'll give you a good example of that. Right. This is one of the stories I want to get onto later, but I was just speaking
Well,
to one of the guys at work. He's quite young, he's about 24, 25. And he was brought up in the region, but he's from the very much from the countryside. So his dialect and accent is leaning more towards Breton than it does to French. So he will use words I have actually no idea.
yeah,
So, but he's really good when he speaks to me. He tries to
yeah.
change his manner and way he speaks just to make it easy, which is great. But I'll give you an example. He said, "Mon pote,"
Okay.
and I was like, "What?" And it means my friend,
Pot.
my best friend, Pote, mon
Pot.
pote.
Okay.
And I was like, I
There's,
don't
there is a
understand.
word, there's a French word whose equivalent is like a buddy, isn't it? I can't remember what it is now,
It's
but there is a
mec
French mech.
gar. That means
Mm,
like boys. So
mm.
the team, if someone says, "Where's the team today?" You'd say, "Où est les gars?"
Which is,
Which
where's the
is,
station? Oh, it's just down the
yeah,
road.
exactly.
Yeah.
No, où sont les gars? Where are the
It's-
gars?
Yeah.
Où est les gars? C'est where's the station? Où sont les gars? And that is where are the boys? Where's the
Mm,
team?
mm.
But the word for
So
team, you keep.
is that a local word or is that
No, no, that's through France. That,
yeah.
but it's more like if you went to work and you said, "Where are the boys today?" What's that
Mm,
basically?
yeah.
Oh, so you can learn all of the classical French you want,
Yeah.
and then
It's
you
not going to
just come
really help
somewhere like
you.
this. You're like, "Who? What?" I love it, but it's interesting. Very, very
Mm.
interesting. Um, yeah. So,
That lady that I've been doing some work for,
oh
the
yeah,
lady that, yeah, with who's been renting a house for 40 years. When I first started working, I asked her, can we just speak French? Because she speaks English really well.
yeah.
And she's been, every time I speak to her, she puts me right on, there's any number of mistakes to be made, isn't there? So,
Oh, yeah.
she's
Uh,
always put me right, which is really good, really helps me.
So one thing I've learned is when you're speaking French and you wanna, I think it was Michelle Thomas said it, which is really good to listen to, by the way, if you haven't. That's
Brilliant.
the one I would recommend above all else.
Yeah.
Um,
Michelle Thomas and Paul Noble, I think they're the two
I haven't listened to
stand up.
him, but
It's so good. Yeah. But Michelle Thomas, yeah.
yeah. So the idea is to get the message over the net. For example, you just want to be understood, and you don't need to be too worried about the finishing touches because you can get too much involved in that.
Yeah.
So you need to just get the message over the net. So le or la pretty much
Doesn't
goes
really
out the
matter.
window,
Yeah.
and tenses and that kind of stuff
Mm.
pretty much goes out the window. And what you'll find happen is you'll say something like, and they'll go, "I don't understand." So you say it again, but more. Not louder, but more defined. And
How British is
they
that? Say it
the,
loud and they'll understand.
yeah, the first thing they'll do is repeat what you should have said back to you
Yes. Right.
once they get it. And if you
Yeah.
can learn like that, it's much easier. Uh,
Yeah.
but if you start like my mum, she speaks really good French, but she stops mid-sentence to try and work out the past participle of this
Yeah. Yeah.
particular sentence.
Yeah.
And then me, I just go like I'm not more like a blunderbuss.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
show so much out there. They'll get the message and then I'll
Yeah.
get the response back and then I can learn from that. And I think that's
Yeah.
easier to do like that.
A French teacher used to say that it was, and I can't remember the exact percentages, but he'd say communication is, like 70% context, 10% body language, 10%
Yeah.
intonation, and it was only like 5% actual words.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I
You know?
agree. And
Mm,
I always said to myself, I know I've made it in France if I can go to a McDonald's drive-through and order a drive-through.
there you go.
I still
Someone
haven't
said
done
to
it.
me, right?
Still.
Someone said to me that you've made it in France if you can make a French person laugh with a joke.
Ah, yes. I've actually managed to do that.
Yeah, yeah,
I've
same
actually managed to
here.
do that.
Yeah, yeah.
But our humor is not the same as their humor. So
No,
you can't translate a joke
no,
directly into French. It won't work.
doesn't work. No, no. Funny enough, when I was working back in the UK, a lot of the clients were American, and so it'd be American insurance brokers coming over to be wined and dined and all the rest of it. So there was a particular group from I think that was from Maine, which is quite a straight-laced society, really.
I don't know
These
much about the American.
Yeah, the northeast coast is quite straight-laced, and so they was like dogs off the leash, So they'd
Oh, right. So they felt more free to.
yeah, so they'd get in the because we used to use the Viano, which is like a people carrier, to pick them up. So there'd be five or six of them in the back of the vehicle, and they'd say to me, "Oh, tell us a joke, tell us a joke." So I think of the worst joke I could think of, in terms of bad taste and that. And they'd be rolling around laughing, and the C word is really frowned upon in the US. So you use that. I love it because they're off the leash.
I've got to be honest, that's a north-south thing.
Oh, really?
Oh, absolutely. If you're in the north, you never say the C word. It just
Right,
doesn't. No, no. That's like going up to someone and calling their mum a bad name. It is
right.
really, really bad. And when
Yeah.
I moved down from Yorkshire down to London, and it was everywhere, I was like, oh my God, what are these people?
I
How
mean,
horrible are these?
certainly in East London, it's a term of endearment, isn't
Yeah, you pretty much a punctuation, I think.
it? Yeah.
So, especially in Dagenham, I've heard.
I was
Anyway.
all right till I met Jane, and then but yeah. Anyway, yeah. But right, yeah. So coming back to France, went off at
Yeah,
tangent there.
a little bit.
Yeah, coming back to France. So, yeah, so there was that, and we was talking earlier before we started recording about in October. There's a new entry requirement.
So I think it starts this year. They're going to start bringing in the ETIAS, the fingerprint photograph, and you have to pay for a visa on entry as well
Yeah.
to anywhere in the Schengen, really.
Mm,
Now, it doesn't count for people who've got residency because we've already given the photograph fingerprints. It's on a card.
yeah.
So what I would assume will happen is you'll take the route through not customs, through passports it's marked EU, and you can just get through like that. And everyone
Mm,
else is going to have to queue up if they haven't already done it, because you can do it before you leave.
yeah.
You can get your fingerprints and photograph taken. I think you have to pay €7 for the visa as well. But yeah,
Going to be a nightmare, isn't it?
it's just so they can control and then know who's coming in and who's going
Mm,
out.
mm,
It's interesting.
yeah.
We'll see what happens there.
And we'll park that one there.
So I went to work the other day, and the boss's son, he's got two sons. The youngest one is about 24, 25. He wasn't there. And I said, just casually said, where is he?
Hmm.
One of the other guys said, oh, you're not heard? No. He's been involved in a car accident.
Right.
So anyway, finding that he was in work today, so he's fine, by the way. And the story he tells is this. There's a two-seater van called a Citroen C15. Have you seen?
Yes.
You've seen them. They're old
Yeah.
white
Yeah. Yeah.
two-seater vans, small. So he's at his friend's house and they decide they want to go shop and buy some stuff. Don't know what. So the driver gets in and the guy, the boss's son, gets in the passenger seat as per normal. But one of their other friends wants to come as well. So he gets in the van bit of it.
The
So
back
in
of the
the
van,
back.
yeah. Of
And I mean, this must go on all the time.
course it does, yeah.
So they're driving down the road about 90 kilometers an hour, and the speed limit here is 80. It's not changed back yet. It's due to, but that's another, probably something else we can mention later on. So he's driving along, and the driver turns around to talk to the guy in the back, and then the boss's son taps him on the shoulder and says, "There's a car in front of you." So he turns around, sees the car, swerves out to the left, misses the car, but when he swerves back into the right, he does it too violently, flips the car, ends up in the ditch, and the guy that's in the back who's not belted in gets thrown actually through the back window of the C-15 out of the
Oh,
vehicle further down the way. So the boss's son gets out. He can't open the door, and the car is completely written off. I've seen videos and pictures of it. It's completely mangled. He wouldn't even recognize it as a van. He climbs out and runs over to this mate who's been thrown out, and he's unconscious, and his face is completely covered in blood.
mm,
And you call the pompier. They arrive, and they call a helicopter. And so a helicopter comes in, scoops him up, and takes him to the nearest hospital. Suspected neck fracture, skull fracture, the lot where he's been
yeah,
ejected from a 90 kilometer an hour moving vehicle. You expect that. The driver and the passenger, my boss's son, get away with minor injuries because they're wearing seatbelts, would you believe? It's a pretty good idea.
yeah, well done.
Yeah. Anyway, the gendarmes turn up and they test the driver, and he comes back eventually as right. The way they do it is on the level of alcohol in the blood. So his is the equivalent of zero point 0.8. So that for him puts him in a bracket where he has to go to court now to
Mm,
receive his punishment.
yeah,
But the guy who got thrown out of the vehicle, by the way, in a couple of days made a full recovery and there's no lasting injuries. And two in the front recovered, no problems. So everybody's fine. But it's an interesting story on drink drive because the limit is zero point 0.5, and between zero point 0.5 and zero point 0.8, you can drive the following day
yeah,
because you're likely only to receive either points or a very small ban of up to like 3 months.
yeah,
Anything over zero point 0.8, you can't drive, and the likelihood is you'll get your permit taken off you.
yeah.
That's how he explained it to me. If anyone knows any more than that, please put it in the comments. And if you want to come on and explain to us how that works, we'd love that. But the rules are completely different to the UK. So the UK, if you get caught drink driving, that's you done for a year, no matter what. Well,
Mm,
no, there is a way out of it actually. But
mm,
99%, that's it, you're
yeah,
done.
yeah, yeah.
1 year ban minimum. And if it's your second offence, 18 months, 2 years, etc., etc. Go on.
So, following last Frontier Trumpet, where I think I may have offended some people's sensibilities about the flying monkey joke. Well, it wasn't a joke. Um, I'm going to do it again.
Oh
So,
no.
so, remember my brother's fire station, the last one that he worked at before he retired was in Wellington, or his place in Rainham in Essex. And it's right next to the M25. So they was constantly getting called out to accidents on the M25. So there was a really big accident where, there was multiple fatalities, multiple injuries, and it involved a skip lorry just not touching their brakes and just slamming into traffic, and it's just disastrous. Anyway, so they get called out, they turn up, and the place is there's carnage, complete carnage. And he said, as he's walking along, through the like trying to find out what to do first, trying to work out what to do first, he looked down and saw an ear on the floor, and he thought, I better pick that up. Popped it into his pocket, and carried on. Thought, I'll hand it over to someone who's short one, and and it got really really busy. People really needing help to be cut out and all sorts, and he forgot about it. So I went back to the fire station after it was all over, and in the fire stations, they have something called a dry room where they, you know, invariably firemen's outfits get wet, so they put the stuff in this hot room where the stuff dries out. So he's put his overcoat, like his not overcoat, like the fireman's tunic, into the dry room and takes the pockets out so they're dry, and an ear falls on the floor. So it's oh shit. So yeah, so there was many phone calls, and they managed to get. Obviously, it was too late by then, but they managed to find out as it was. Sadly, it was a deceased person that didn't really need it anyway. But yeah, terrible.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm sure that'll offend someone's sensibilities, but there you
I,
go.
I would think so, yeah. So what else has happened? I think that the thing for us that we should probably keep a little bit of an eye on is the drones that have appeared in Poland. Did you
Yeah,
hear
the
about
the
that? Yeah.
Russian drones.
Mm.
Mm.
It's the first time they've, well, it's not the first time, but they've purposely crossed, shall we say, Polish airspace.
Yeah, well, that's probably Putin testing the NATO boundaries, isn't it?
Yeah, I would think so. And the reports in the news are that Poland is trying to invoke or has invoked Article 4 of NATO, which means that
Mm.
every other member nation should protect the other nation.
Mm.
Uh,
Yeah,
so I don't know how that will pan out, but it may mean that French troops specifically might be maneuvered to Poland to bolster
yeah,
the border.
yeah, of
Um, Yeah, I think we all forget that there is still a war going on in Ukraine,
course.
and it hit home to me. I watched a film about the atrocities that Germans did. I can't remember the film name now, but in World War II,
Yeah.
and the same is going on in Ukraine. You know, the Russians are
Mm.
carrying out exactly the same things
Mm.
over there, and yeah, we forget that it's just at the edge of where we are really.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
don't know what's going to
Yeah.
come of that, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, I think in terms of the global situation, I think it's even though it's a real war in Ukraine, I think there's more danger in Taiwan, to be honest. If China does decide that it wants Taiwan, when it's already decided that it wants Taiwan, but if it decides to actually take it, then that could well be the flashpoint for something really, really, really bad.
Hmm. It's interesting, isn't it? Like,
Mm.
do you know what I find quite strange is the news cycle, how quickly it moves on to something else.
Yeah, of course, yeah, yeah,
And I think that's that's a fairly recent thing,
mm.
because 24-hour news channels they have to introduce something fresh, something new to keep the audience.
What I found, Andy, is that obviously, we had the Charlie Kirk thing yesterday and the day before, but it was also at the same time as 9/11. The anniversary of 9/11.
Yeah.
So there's been any number on the Facebook reels and all the rest of it. There's been any number of videos and documentaries, like short documentaries about 9/11. And having watched Vice, the movie Vice,
Yeah.
it's put a completely different slant on the way up that I look at that now.
In what way?
Well, just because in the movie, the Dick Cheney character just got George W. in there, because he was a good old boy and he was a bit of an idiot. So, and it was Dick Cheney that was pulling the strings,
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure.
and there's just so many things involved in it with what was the company? Sounds
Halliburton,
familiar.
is it?
Halliburton, yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Uh, so many things related to that, and it was just the whole thing was just
Well,
completely gone.
this is going to blow your
Oh,
mind.
actually, I've got to tell you something. I've got to tell you
Go on,
something.
then.
So it's really, really funny before I forget it. So I was watching this thing about these SEAL Team Six, the SEAL team that went and killed Osama bin Laden, and this guy was being interviewed on the Sean Ryan podcast, and he said, it's a big difference between what you see in the movies and what the reality of it is. So he was saying that in the movie Zero Dark 30, where the actress portrays the woman who spent 20 years of her life working the case trying to find Osama bin Laden, working 20-hour days, working weekends, just completely focused, didn't get married, didn't have kids, completely focused on that job to find Osama bin Laden. And when they did eventually find him, and the SEAL team killed him and had him laid out on getting ready to put him into a body bag, they called this CIA woman to come and officially identify him. And in the movie, the actress goes up, looks at the body of Osama bin Laden laying there, and she's all emotional, and her lip goes, and she's like, "Yeah, that's him," and she's all, you know, like this. The SEAL team guy said what actually happened was that the CIA woman come up, looked at him, said, "Yeah, that's him. Well, I suppose that's me out of a fucking job."
Brilliant. You gotta love the sense of humor in them.
Yeah, yeah, brilliant, isn't it? Brilliant.
I
So,
love it.
but yeah,
What I was going to say earlier is the company Halliburton, which is just a massive shareholding for ex-presidents and all that kind of stuff.
yeah, yeah,
It was actually the company that was running the Deepwater Horizon rig subcontracted from BP at the time when
yeah,
it had the massive leak.
yeah. I think we talked about that in a couple of
Yeah,
videos
we
ago.
did.
We
Yeah,
talked about the movie. Yeah,
it was yeah. So it's one of
yeah. But as I
those
say, having
shady
watched that
combinations.
movie, it put a completely different slant on everything that I saw about 9/11.
Yeah. We do like our movies, don't we? So
Hmm.
we've done a few episodes, well, one or two episodes on movies.
Maybe,
Yeah. So it's well worth a watch. We recommend some pretty good movies.
yeah, yeah.
And we might do another movie episode.
Yeah, we could do it.
I
Yeah, we
feel
could
like
do
we
it.
could do one actually. But
So
that was one of the movies I recommended, wasn't it? I think.
it was so good. It was so I could not stop watching it. In fact, I stayed up and Jane went to bed because I just didn't want to stop watching it. And
Yeah.
like I say, I wasn't aware of 90% of what happened there.
Hmm. Yeah. So that movie is called Vice,
Mm.
Vice. It's about
Yeah,
President Dick Cheney.
yeah.
Portrayed
But
by, what's it, Christian Bale, is it? I think.
Christian Bale, yeah, you would never think it was. I mean, the prosthetics in it,
Oh,
brilliant.
no, no.
But yeah, and actually, the actor that played George W was brilliant as well.
He was.
Was it
Rockwell?
Sam Rockwell? That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, he's brilliant.
just brilliant. It's a
He
it's
does
a
it in such a way where you really
it's
like
a
him for it as well, don't you?
He's a proper good old boy, isn't he?
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
So, shall we move on to the events that took place in the US with I think we can call it an assassination. When
Yeah.
does when does a murder become an assassination?
I think they're all murders, obviously.
Of course, yeah.
But assassination has to be targeted for some reason.
Mm.
Um, yeah, it's a good question. It's a
Mm. Well,
good
anyway,
question.
the assassination of Charlie Kirk in Utah.
I've got to be honest, never heard of the guy.
Right, yeah. I was aware of him, and some of the stuff that I've seen, um, I think he was probably shaping up to be a president in probably 20 years, 25 years time.
Right, okay.
Obviously, that's not going to happen now, sadly, but I think he was 31, lovely wife, two little kids. Just a tragedy, just a waste of you know, he seemed like a really good guy. Obviously, there's politics involved, which I don't really want to get involved in, talking about
No.
the left and the right. But he just, I think it was Churchill who said that it's much better to have George Orwell than World War.
Yeah.
And his basic philosophy was, look, you've got a point of view, I've got a point of view. Let's just talk about it. Let's just argue it. Let's use words.
Yeah, I think reading from it, he used to go around, and that's exactly what he did do, apparently. He used to go around university campuses and just say, look, what have
Yeah,
you got for me? Well, let's
yeah.
talk
Just say,
about it.
look, your point of view. Let's just talk
Yeah.
about it. What is it that makes you think like that? And I'll tell you what I think, and then we can still
That,
disagree.
that that is what a politician's supposed to do, I'm sure. I mean, that's
Yeah,
literally the definition of it, isn't it? To try
yeah.
and anyway, yeah, it's sad. I mean, I don't know the guy, I don't know anything about him, but it just seems so rough on like the kids and the wife and stuff. And
Well, they was there. They was there. That's even worse. They was there. His wife saw it happen.
that's
Um,
horrible.
I watched it's come up on my Facebook feed, the actual shooting, and I said because I called Jay and said, you know, the news said that he had been taken to hospital and he was in surgery, and I said to Jay, you know, the injury that he's got there and the amount of blood is he's done. He's
I
sadly he's
think
done.
the thing, and we've discussed this earlier, that surprised us both is the fact that the MO was very similar to the Donald Trump attempted
Yeah, absolutely.
assassination.
Yeah, I mean, because we was talking about this earlier off air, and he had a professional looking security team around him, private security team, and yet no one thought of anything outside a 200-meter boundary. It's just when you got. Always remember, right? Now, easy little story. Always remember that uh, there was a private security team called WalkSafe. It was run by this ex-army guy, and they used to look after. Who was the guy? Something Green, who used to own Burton's and BH. It was a BHS scandal as well, wasn't there?
Philip
Green.
Green.
I can't remember his
Philip
name.
Philip
Philip
Green.
Green. That's it. So Philip Green. Yeah. So they used to do security for him, and I remember being waiting on the steps of the Dorchester. I was doing a different job, and they turned up, and they had the car there. They had a chase car, and they had a bike, which is like standard practice. And uh, when Sir Philip Green came out, all of the security team were looking at him, and I said to the people I was working with, "Look at all of these. Like they're all looking at him. They should be looking out, not in." They should be looking at, any threats or anything like that. They're all looking the wrong way.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, interesting. But
But
the,
yeah.
going back to you're right, and they should know better. But going back to the two long range shootings in America, in a country where you can literally go into a hardware store and buy a high powered rifle that can shoot from that distance,
Mm,
surely with the technology of drones, I think you mentioned drones earlier,
yeah.
surely you could put a drone up or
Yeah,
two.
just put a drone up and, I mean, you don't have to spend vast amounts of money. I mean, when you think how much a private security team would cost,
Oh yeah.
to have a professional drone with, with a, what do you call it, a heat camera,
Not
IR, wouldn't it?
not even necessarily that, because
Yeah,
I've seen some of the footage. He's on a white coloured roof,
yeah,
wearing
dressed
black
in black.
clothing.
Yeah.
It's not rocket. Well, I don't really want to say it's not rocket science because it's a difficult job. But yeah, I do think that drones would certainly help.
Mm.
Um,
I
and they're
remember I
everywhere
was,
now.
I,
And
I
you can
was,
get them this big, you know?
remember I used to do a bit of work for the South African High Commission, and whenever Nelson Mandela used to come into town, I'd always drive his wife, Mrs. Mitchell, and we was doing the movement to Number 10 from the Dorchester, funny enough, and we was getting ready to go, and there was a window open on about, I don't know, probably the 20th floor of, was it the Intercontinental that was on Old Park Lane? There was
Uh,
the Hilton, and then there was the Intercontinental, I think it was.
uh,
But
just well, that's up from the Dorchester.
yeah, that's
Oh,
it. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Or south on Park Lane. Yeah,
yeah.
facing the doors of the Dorchester. Anyway, on about the 20th, 30th floor, something like that. It was way up there. There was a window open because I could see the window, like the net flapping. I looked at it, I thought, there's no one else seeing this. So I called over one of the security team. I said, look at up there. And I thought, this is going to happen. I seriously thought, this is going to happen right in front of me. So I better say something because, anyway,
It's a
he
lot
got
of
on the radio.
paperwork.
And, say again?
It's a lot of paperwork.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So he got on the radio, and within probably 3 or 4 minutes, someone shut the window. But yeah, for those 3 or 4 minutes, I thought this is going to happen right in front of me here.
Oh, yeah,
But yeah, there was that point where I was thinking, has no one else seen this?
yeah,
Because I mean, wasn't there a piece of video in Utah where some students had filmed someone laying on the roof, yet they didn't tell anyone.
yeah, yeah. Absolutely right.
Yeah,
I, I don't know, but mm, yeah. Anyway, we'll see. But so, what else in the news that's of any interest to us? In the UK, we've got a new deputy prime minister, haven't we?
we have got a new deputy prime minister. We've also we're going to have a new ambassador to the US.
We are.
So for those for those who don't know, so people in different countries, they've got no reason to know. Um, Lord Peter Mandelson, isn't it? He was appointed the UK ambassador to the US. Um, in his previous life, he was in the Tory government, a minister for all sorts, and his nicknames in the in like the political circles in Westminster was the Prince of Darkness.
Yeah,
Because they always used to say he had something of the night about him,
yeah.
which is brilliant. I love that phrase. He's got something of the night about him. And
Shady as you like.
yeah, shady as you like, proper dodgy. Anyway, so Sir Keir Starmer, in his wisdom, appointed him as UK ambassador to the US.
Yeah.
Um, now, I'm not sure how it's become available, but Epstein's birthday book has been
So it's
published.
been released by the American prosecutor's office. It
Right.
was
Okay.
taken in when Jeffrey Epstein was arrested and processed as evidence, and they're releasing it now to the public.
Yeah. Wonder why? Why they've just decided to release it now? Because it's, I don't know. Anyway, for whatever reason, Peter Mandelson features in it over several pages, and it's damning evidence of his wrongdoing. Well, potential alleged wrongdoing.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Yeah.
please don't shut us down.
Yeah.
Not
You're gonna
this
have the
week.
gendarmes kicking the door down tonight, aren't
We've got a guest for next week. Please don't shut us down.
you? Yeah. Wait till the week after.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, so his position became untenable.
yeah,
I think that's the
absolutely.
best way to describe it.
Oh,
So he's been launched out of that job, and and rightly so, I think. Rightly so. You can't have someone like
but
that. Running the UK.
so the ambassador that they had before was Kim Darroch, the
Right? Didn't know
uh,
that.
highly respected, extremely talented, and very good diplomat. Definitely not on Epstein's island, but Donald Trump absolutely disliked him,
Right.
really hated him. Don't know why. But it's no coincidence that Donald Trump really, really liked Peter Mandelson.
Really.
Maybe this isn't the first time they've met, if you know what I'm saying. Hmm.
That's interesting, isn't it? Yeah. 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 Okay.
But now he wholly approved it, and apparently they got on really, really well. So,
Yeah. Well,
well,
there
as they
you
would
go.
do. Don't remember the old times when we were back on the island. Allegedly. Don't shut it down. We got a
Allegedly.
guest next week. Anyway, however you look at it, it was a massive mess up from start to end.
Yeah. Yeah.
What surprises me is the what do they call it? They call it due diligence, but it's really looking into your past, how they didn't come up with that, or if they did come up with it, did they brush over it? Um,
Well, I mean, Keir Starmer's got form for that, hasn't he, for brushing over things when he was public prosecutor.
no, I don't know about
Mm. Moving swiftly on there, I think.
that. All right, okay. I must be something I missed. But yeah, I don't know. But it's not, I mean, it's not the Prime Minister looks at whether he's suitable or not. There's an actual, you know, team to do that kind of stuff. They do the vetting.
Yeah, yeah, of course, yeah, yeah. As you say, there's bound to have been some sort of memo that's ended up on someone's desk, and they've gone, "Oh, don't worry about it. No one's going to know about that."
So I remember how bad the vetting was. So a lot of my friends work in the Metropolitan Police, and there's I used to know a guy who was in North Yorkshire Police, and he got chucked out of North Yorkshire Police because he found a couple, well, uh, having relations in a lay-by,
Did you
which
have relations?
at night, which I'm sure you could find lots of. But instead of dealing with it properly or making sure everything's all right and then carrying on, he said, "Can I join in?" And they made a complaint because obviously no, and he got sacked. And this guy got sacked, and then about 3 weeks later, I run into him in Scotland Yard
Oh,
in
really?
he's wearing a police uniform. So the Met will take on
Yeah,
other officers that the
yeah,
other forces don't want. Anyway, so yeah, the vetting process. Well, in fact, we can look at that with the recent sackings from the Metropolitan Police, where the vetting was not carried out correctly.
yeah.
And do you know why? This is a exclusive for Friendship Trumpet.
Go on.
The vetting for the Metropolitan Police was subcontracted out quite a while ago now to a
Mm,
firm called, I'm not going to mention them, but they are in charge of, or were in charge of, the servicing of all the vehicles.
right.
And suddenly they decided we can now do vetting.
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do
How hard can it
that.
be? Yeah.
Exactly.
No,
We'll
yeah.
get
It was
Mark
like
down
when
here.
I first applied for a shotgun license. I had a visit from a firearms officer who, come and sat in the front room and talked to me, and and we talked, at some length, just to make sure I wasn't a mental person.
Yeah.
And then I think the second time that I renewed it, um, I got a phone call. And they said, "Oh, you want to renew your firearms license?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "When did you want to come around?" "Oh no, I don't know. So we just want to know that you want to renew it." I said, "Well, yeah." I said, "All right, it's done then."
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it then, is it? So in the previous 5 years, I've not become mental, and
No problems at home,
yeah,
and
no
still
problems at
keeping it
home.
securely
No
locked up.
drinking
And
at all.
yeah, absolutely. The
Yeah,
fact that you can't get to your gun cabinet because of all the bottles of whiskey and all that. Yeah.
yeah,
Your wife's just left you.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Other than
I
that,
know. I know.
yeah,
Well,
and that was a private company.
yeah, but the problem is we laugh, but this privatizing stuff like that has led to uh, tragic deaths.
Of course, yeah,
The
of
guy from
course, it's gonna.
The guy from the DPG who was never vetted
Mm,
properly. He was still on the list. He went out and murdered that young lady, and that could have all been stopped because he had stuff that would have been brought up in the vetting that would not have allowed him to do what he was doing.
yeah, yeah, of course.
And they brush over that in the news quite a lot, and there's loads like that.
Mm,
It's really, really terrible. Like the list for vet. So I'm on a list for contact for some people for above normal security vetting as a
mm,
personal reference.
right.
And I'm supposed to be contacted to renew their vetting. And I said, yeah, I can do that for two people. And that was 2 years ago, and I've never been contacted
Yeah.
because it's privatized to a private company and they don't really care. It's just
Mm,
all about the money.
yeah.
So sad. So sad.
Mm.
Anyway, right. I suppose that's a terrible way to end the show, isn't it? But how about next week? What have we got next week? Tell me about
Yeah.
it.
So next week, we've got something planned. Hopefully it'll come through. But we've got a chap called Tom coming on next week, who was, I think I talked about it in the last Frontier Trumpet, but he's scheduled for next week. He was a big name in British motorsport on the engineering side in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And really interesting bloke. He's funny as well. He's got sense of humour. It's brilliant. But he's just got stories to tell. He's just got, I love people with stories. So he's got so many. It's
I'm
so
really
funny.
looking forward to that.
Yeah, it'd
Really
be
looking
good.
forward to it.
Good. Yeah, so that'll be next week. All things being well. Uh, Speaking of being well, you've been a bit rough, Andy.
Yeah, terrible, but
Yeah,
getting through it. So, I guess that's it. We're out of time.
out of time, it's whizzed by again.
I know.
Yeah, so grass is coming off. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. We really appreciate all your comments. The more comments, the better. We love it reading, and they're so interesting in that. So it's great. So thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to give the video a thumbs up, that'd be great. Press the notification bell so that you know when there's new content, and maybe think about sharing it on your socials. That'd be great. and maybe think about subscribing if you're not subscribed already. And all that leaves to say is goodbye from me.
Let's come back from him.
Goodbye.